Today is March 8th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are plugging along Chapter 4, We Agnostics. We're on page 55. Out of the 12 and 12, we begin Step 8 today. We'll be reading page 77, and we'll read the 24 Hours a Day and Daily Reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. We've been given another set of 24 hours, another day sober. I've got a huge black cup of coffee in hand, and buddy, I made it strong. It'll put even more hair on my chest. But with that, we are ready to go, and let's get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, some powerful stuff. And I love how the Big Book has so many strong illustrations. And this book was talking about how reason is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with reason. But sometimes it's reasonable to discard old ideas for new. But it also talks about how sometimes there are things that are beyond reason. Perhaps our love for another human being, for instance, or our love for the beauty of nature, or whatever it might be. So I love that they talk about that. And then one of the last lines we read yesterday was kind of talking about how we might look at those who are sober around us when we first get in the rooms, and it says, they said God made these things possible, and we only smiled. We've seen a spiritual release, but like to tell ourselves it wasn't actually true. But I love the follow-up paragraph. Actually, we were fooling ourselves, for deep down in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. It may be obscured by calamity, by pomp, worship of other things, but in some form or another, it is there. For a faith in a power greater than ourselves and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as man himself. So with that, let's finish off page 55. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us. We can only clear the ground a bit. If our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself, then if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. In this book, you will read the experience of a man who thought that he was an atheist. His story is so interesting that some of it should be told now. His change of heart was dramatic, convincing, and moving. And we will get to that man's story tomorrow. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Steps 8 and 9 are concerned with personal relations. First, we take a look backward and try to discover where we have been at fault. Next, we make a vigorous attempt to repair the damage that we have done. And third, having thus cleaned away the debris of the past, we consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with every human being we know. This is a very large order. It is a task which we may perform with increasing skill but never really finish. Learning how to live in the greatest peace, partnership, and brotherhood with all men and women, of whatever description, is a moving and fascinating adventure. Every AA has found that he can make little headway in this new adventure of living until he first backtracks and really makes an accurate and unsparing survey of the human wreckage that he has left in his wake. To a degree, he's already done this when taking a moral inventory. But now the time has come when he ought to redouble his efforts to see how many people he has hurt, and in what ways. This reopening of emotional wounds, some old, some perhaps forgotten, and some still painfully festering, will at first look like a purposeless and pointless piece of surgery. But if a willing start is made, then the great advantages of doing this will so quickly reveal themselves that the pain will be lessened as one obstacle after another melts away. "24 hours a day, March 8th. AA thought for the day. We must go to AA meetings regularly. We must learn to think differently. We must change from alcoholic thinking to sober thinking. We must re-educate our minds. We must try to help other alcoholics. We must cooperate with God by spending at least as much time and energy on the AA program as we did on drinking. We must follow the AA program to the best of our ability. Have I turned my alcoholic problem over to God, and am I cooperating with Him?" Meditation for the day. The joy of true fellowship shall be mine in full measure. I will revel in the joy of real fellowship. There will come back a wonderful joy if I share in fellowship now. Fellowship among spiritually minded people is the embodiment of God's purpose for this world. To realize this will bring me a new life joy. If I share in humanity's joys and travails, a great blessing will be mine. I can truly live a life not of earth, but a heaven life, here and now. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be helped and healed by true spiritual fellowship. I pray that I may sense His presence in spiritual fellowship with His children. Daily Reflection, March 8th. Turning it over. Every man and woman who has joined AA and intends to stick has, without realizing it, made a beginning on step 3. Isn't it true that in all matters touching upon alcohol, each of them has decided to turn his or her life over to the care, protection, and guidance of Alcoholics Anonymous? Any willing newcomer feels sure that AA is the only safe harbor for the foundering vessel that he has become. Now, if this is not turning one's will and life over to a newfound providence, then what is it? 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 35. Submission to God was the first step to my recovery. I believe our fellowship seeks a spirituality open to a new kinship with God. As I exert myself to follow the path of the steps, I sense a freedom that gives me the ability to think for myself. My addiction confined me without any release and hindered my ability to be released from my self-confinement. But AA assures me of a way to go forward. Mutual sharing, concern, and caring for others is our natural gift to each other, and mine is strengthened as my attitude toward God changes. I learn to submit to God's will in my life, to have self-respect, and to keep both of these attitudes by giving away what I receive. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. It's some great stuff. And real quick, I have a special guest on the podcast. It's my cat, one of my 2 cats. Although you could argue that one's a cat and one's basically a dog trapped in a cat's body. But yeah, ever since I started doing this in the last couple weeks, my cat Ahsoka has been meowing at the door trying to come in. So, yep. For the last few days, she's been in the background, kind of exploring things and everything. So she's kind of been my garage buddy. But anyway, I love the reading out of the big book today and all the reading. My goodness. But real quick on the bottom of page 55, we can only clear the ground a bit if our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself. Then, if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. Isn't that beautiful right there? Pretty extravagant promises, but I'm living proof that it can be true. I love that. And I love that they make one final illustration of the atheist telling his story in the next few paragraphs to end the chapter. And then finally, right after that, we get to the specifics, the nuts and bolts of how it works. I just love the illustrations there. And I love what the 24 hours a day said about the fellowship. I think of so many people in the fellowship that took time to help me. And I heard very early on, and I'm sure you've heard this too, the old adage, listen for the similarities, not the differences. I heard that my very first meeting a few 24 hours ago, and right off the bat, my first meeting, I still remember some things. I remember walking into a big smile. I remember feeling like, wow, talking about prejudices, right? I had my own prejudices of what AA was going to be like. And I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. I walked in, and the lady chairing the meeting, who is no longer with us, but a sweet, sweet woman, feisty, but would do anything for you. Her name was Katie. She's passed away. I remember her smile as soon as I came in. And I remember in the first meeting, somebody saying early on, listen for the similarities. So in that very first meeting, I did that. I started listening for the similarities. And it blew my mind. After the very first meeting, before I even knew what these steps were, I thought to myself, could this be real? It was so surreal to hear people talking about alcohol in a way that I felt about alcohol. It was so surreal to hear people sharing some gut-wrenching things about their experience with alcoholism, but also so fascinating to hear what the God of their understanding did for them. So that magic right there kept me coming back, and I will put a caveat to this, I'm so thankful for the particular meeting I went to. And if there's a meeting that you go to that isn't working for you, that maybe doesn't talk about the solution, is maybe a gossip fest or anything like that, I recommend trying other meetings, getting different perspectives on the same take, It's awesome. I live in a city where there are multiple meetings, and I like to change it up from time to time and get different perspectives and everything. And it's great, especially when it's rooted in the big book. And I love the big book study meetings and everything like that. But anyway, going back to my early experiences, that attracted me so much that I knew I had to keep coming back. I knew something was different. The fact that these people seemed happy and they're sharing some pretty vulgar stuff about their past, but they're laughing about it and talking about what God has done for them. I was like, whoa, okay, I'll come back. And then eventually I would get a sponsor and work through the steps. And during that time, I gained real friends. And what I mean by that is the fellowship gave me what I consider family. People who knew the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm talking about the really ugly. I'm talking about not the tip of the iceberg ugly. I'm talking about the mask is off. I'm telling them everything I've done. Certain folks, not always in front of the whole meeting, but certain folks. And these people cared about me. I had never experienced that in my life. Ever. And fast forward a few 24 hours, I have some people in my life that I consider, like I said, family. There's one man in particular, and this kind of illustrates what sobriety can do. He texted me yesterday, and his brother's in hospice care, and they're giving him at the time he texted me, about 12 hours. So at this point, his brother might have already passed. I said, hey man, do you need me to chair the meeting tonight or anything like that? He said, no, Rob. I need to be at the meeting. I'm exactly where I need to be. I know another man that I look up to that lost both of his parents within the same week and was at a meeting talking about how great sobriety was. I see examples of that all the time. And going back to we agnostics, there are tangible examples of what sobriety can do. If I look around the room, any room in the fellowships of AA, I see tangible evidence of miracles right in front of me. So my reason can tell me, holy cow, maybe there's something to this thing. and my own life has been proof of that there is something to this. And that's what keeps me coming back. That's what gets me excited to wake up and roll out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, go in the garage, pray, let my cat in the garage, and record this podcast. But my friends, I have rambled way over. I apologize for that. I hope you all have a great one today. If you are sober today, you're a miracle, and you are giving a great gift to those around you. And if you're not sober today, I hope you know that you're worthy of recovery, and I pray that you get the help that you need today, and you don't have to do it alone. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.